Welcome to Nuremberg! In this video, we'll show you some of the most beautiful and historic spots in Nuremberg. We'll spin the golden ring at the Schöner Brunnen and share the legend behind it. Step inside Nuremberg's stunning churches and admire the city's many beautiful bridges. We'll wander down Weissbergergasse, a perfectly preserved medieval lane, and walk along the castle ramparts for sweeping views of the Old Town. You'll also see one of Europe's oldest hospitals and explore the charming Handwerkerhof, where traditional crafts bring the city's history to life. All of this and much more. Let's go! All right, look at this. We found the secret black ring. So we are here at the Schönbrunn, the beautiful fountain here on the Marktplatz in Nuremberg. And that black ring, there's a legend behind it. So supposedly a young craftsman, a blacksmith, was in love with a beautiful young lady, a nobleman's daughter. And he refused to let them be a couple. And he said, not until the ring's turn on the Schönbrunn can you marry my daughter. So he secretly made this ring, and he was such a good craftsman, he made it, and you can't even tell that it's broken at all. And then he made that, he put it up here, and he left town. And then the old man, the nobleman, he found it, and he's like, dang, that guy really is quite talented. He's a good blacksmith. But by that time, it was too late. He was already gone, and his daughter was brokenhearted forever. All right, so we told you about the black ring. This one is a brass one, and Betty just spun it for good luck to get her wish. And from what I understand, the legend is you spin it 3 times, and you make a wish, but you can't tell anyone what you wish for. So Betty did hers to get her wish. Now I'm going to do mine, all right? All right, I made my wish. Hopefully it comes true, but I can't tell you what it was. On Nuremberg's Hauptmarkt stands the Frauenkirche, the Church of Our Lady, one of the city's most beautiful and historically important landmarks. It was built between 1352 and 1362 by order of Emperor Charles IV, the same ruler who built Charles Bridge and much of Prague's Gothic splendor. Charles ruled as Holy Roman Emperor and King of Bohemia, and Nuremberg was one of his favorite imperial cities. The Gothic facade of the Frauenkirche is stunning. Look closely and you'll see the imperial balcony, where the emperors once appeared during religious celebrations. And every day at noon, the Mainleinlaufen clock comes to life as tiny mechanical figures reenact the coronation of Charles himself. Inside, the Frauenkirche blends Gothic structure with Baroque details added after the war, a beautiful reminder of how Nuremberg has rebuilt and renewed itself through the centuries. Standing here in the Hauptmarkt, it's impossible not to feel the layers of history, faith, empire, and resilience that make this church so much more than just a backdrop to the city's famous Christmas market. This is the Kettensteg. It was built in 1824. It replaced an older wooden bridge, which I think replaced an even older stone bridge. But anyway, this was built in 1824, and it is the oldest iron suspension bridge on the continent of Europe. And it's 68 meters long, and it gives you some really excellent views both ways. Got this nice stone bridge here, and over there we got a little waterfall, so it's really nice spot. And a lot of people come here to take their wedding photos because we had to wait to get on the bridge quite a while because other people were up here taking wedding pictures. But it's a really nice, beautiful spot here in Nuremberg, the Kettensteg. The Weissbergergasse may be the prettiest street in Nuremberg. They call it the Tanner's Quarter, or the Tanner's Lane, I guess, because most of the people who used to live here worked in the leather industry, so a lot of tanners lived here. Upper middle class houses, very nice houses, and this street didn't receive much damage, or maybe not any damage during World War II. So a lot of it, most of it's original, nice, beautiful, half timber framed houses, just very pleasant for a stroll. And now there's a lot of boutiques and cafes and things like that. I don't think any people live here work in the leather industry anymore, but a really nice, beautiful, historic lane. As the day winds down in Nuremberg, Duerplatz becomes one of the city's most peaceful gathering spots. Tucked just below the Imperial Castle, this small square fills with locals and visitors enjoying the last light of the day. People sit along the old walls, share a drink, or simply watch the sunset paint the rooftops in warm colors. It's a simple, beautiful moment, the kind that makes you slow down, take a breath, and feel connected to the city. All right, good morning in Nuremberg, and we are at the Frauentor, or I think that would be the church, or not the church, but the gate of Our Lady. And this is the main entryway into the old town of Nuremberg, coming from the train station. The Bahnhof, the train station, is right across the street from here. And so you walk into the city walls, and the city walls are really cool. Now, most big cities in Europe destroyed all their old medieval walls, but Nuremberg didn't. So about most of their old city walls are still intact. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it has a lot of them. I think around 90%. And really cool, you can walk along, and along where the moat used to be is a really nice walkway. It's kind of like a city park now, a really nice place to take a stroll. And you can see, you know, a lot of the wall was destroyed in World War II, but it's been rebuilt now. Really nice. And then if you walk straight into the Frauentor, the gate here, you go into a what's called the Handwerkerhof, or the craftsman's courtyard, I think that would be. And it's a really cool looking old medieval, I guess, town, village, but it's not really real. It was only built in 1971. They built it to commemorate the 500th birthday of local artist Albrecht Dürer, and we'll talk more about him later. But it's really cool, kind of gives you an idea of what a medieval village might look like, but it's not really that old. So anyway, so let's go explore more of Nuremberg. Nuremberg's Old Town is laced with beautiful bridges that connect its medieval streets across the Pegnitz River. Each one offers a different view. Half-timbered houses reflected in the water, flower boxes spilling over the railings, and the castle rising in the distance. From the Henkersteg to the Fleischbrücke, or meat bridge, these crossings aren't just practical, they're part of the city's story, linking centuries of history with everyday life. All right, so this is the Pegnitz River, and if you look right there, that kind of looks like a bridge. That is the Hospital of the Holy Spirit, Hospital of the Holy Ghost, built in 1489, and absolutely beautiful. It was damaged pretty severely in World War II, but it's been rebuilt. Looks absolutely spectacular. And I believe this was like a charitable hospital when it was first built. So for people who couldn't afford, I guess, healthcare, this is where they came, kind of a early version of socialized medicine, I suppose. So beautiful building, absolutely spectacular. Walking across the bridge here, and there's a little market here today. So it's a really, really nice, beautiful day here in Nuremberg. The Imperial Castle of Nuremberg towers above the city and has watched over it for nearly 1,000 years. During the Middle Ages, every Holy Roman Emperor stayed here, making it one of the most important castles in Germany. From its ramparts, you get sweeping views of Nuremberg's Old Town, red rooftops, church spires, and winding medieval streets. Walking through its courtyards feels like stepping back in time, a reminder of when Nuremberg was at the heart of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, so I just climbed the Sinwell Turm, or the Sinwell Tower, and it costs €4 to climb the tower, and that also includes to see a display of the deep fountain of the deep well, which we'll see here in a second. But tower wasn't difficult to climb. I don't know how many steps, but it was a winding staircase, but it was nice and wide. Never bumped into anyone. There were no traffic jams or anything like that. So it was not difficult to climb. Really nice views up at the top of the city of Nuremberg. And I can recommend it for only €4 is not bad. A little bit of exercise. Thought it was nice. So now we'll go see what the deep well. There's supposed to be some sort of a demonstration to show exactly how deep the well is. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. But I think we're going to have a drink first and relax here at the castle at Nuremberg. So we just witnessed the demonstration of the deep well here at the Nuremberg Castle. And so they take you inside and they show you, so it's 50 meters deep, right? And I guess in the Middle Ages, they could get about 200 liters of water a day from the well. 2,000 liters of water a day, 2,000 liters of water a day from this well. And so there's a person that goes in there to give you a brief description. And it's supposed to only be in German, but our actual guide, she actually spoke English, so she explained it in German and English. But they do a demonstration, so they pour like a jug of water into the well. And it takes like 5 seconds to hit to the bottom, to actually hit water, and you can hear it. So to demonstrate how deep it is, and then they lower some candles all the way down, and they get all the way down to water level, and they still burn. So there's oxygen down there as well. So really interesting water supply for this castle in the medieval days. The ticket for the tower, for the Sinwell Tower, also works for the to see the well demonstration. It's €4 per person. Very interesting. The demonstration is every 30 minutes. It takes about 10 minutes. They go in there and give you, they tell you about the importance of it and how it was all done through manual labor and everything. And so very interesting. The tower and the well, I recommend it, paying €4 to get the combination. Although today Nuremberg is part of Bavaria, the city's roots are proudly Franconian. In the early 1800s, after the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, Nuremberg was annexed by the Kingdom of Bavaria, not by choice, but by political circumstance. And while the borders changed, the identity didn't. You can still feel the Franconian pride in the traditions, the food, the dialect, and the spirit of the people. A reminder that Nuremberg may be in Bavaria, but it will always have a character all its own. All right, so this is the Church of St. Lorenzo, originally a Catholic church. Now it's Protestant. It changed with the Reformation. Construction started, and a lot of the outside was finished by 1360, so in the 1300s. But the inside wasn't complete until right around the time of the Reformation, right around the late 1400s, early 1500s. And what's kind of interesting, it has some beautiful art inside, some really cool statues, some really nice artwork. It's very impressive. A lot of it's very detailed and very delicate. But most of the art was donated by wealthy Nuremberg families. And so when they convert, and I guess they donated the art as a way to get themselves out of purgatory so they could get to heaven faster, so they donated art to the church. But then when the Reformation came, a lot of places throughout Europe, when they converted to Protestantism, they went inside these old Catholic churches and ripped out all the art, all the saints, and things like that. But here in Nuremberg, I guess because the art was donated by wealthy families, they decided not to do that. So the art's still in there, and it's very impressive. Definitely worth a visit. It's free to get in. They ask for a €2 donation, which is well worth it. I'd go in, walk around, and just look at the art. It's pretty amazing. It was damaged during World War II, and they show some pictures of the damage, but the art survived miraculously. And it's really cool. So go inside St. Lawrence Church, and I think it'll definitely be worth your time, and €2. All right, so as you leave St. Lawrence Church, turn to the right, and right here, just a few steps, you've got the Fountain of the Seven Virtues from the 16th century, I believe. So walk around and see if you can find all the virtues there, but if you're a little modest, you might want to cover your eyes. And right across the street from this, we've got one of the, I think this may be the only remaining tower house left in Nuremberg, and basically it's a one-family castle. It was built in the 1200s before there was a wall around Nuremberg, so wealthy families had to defend themselves. They built like their own castle. It has a chapel on the outside, and a really cool building right across from the St. Lawrence Church and right by the Fountain of the Seven Virtues. So we just toured the Albrecht Dürer house. Cost €7.50 per person to go through. It includes an audio guide with multiple languages available. And there's information stations throughout the house that are in German and English. They do have tours available. I think English tours once a week. Saturdays at 2, I think, is the English tour. And they have tours in German. I'm sure those are more often. I don't know the exact times on those. Now, my opinion, so Albrecht Dürer, if you're not aware, one of the greatest artists of the Renaissance, probably the greatest German artist in the world, lived right here in Nuremberg. This was his house that we just went through. Now, my opinion, unless you're just a huge Albrecht Dürer fan, or if you just want to tour through an old-looking medieval house, if those two cases apply, then go for it. Other than that, I wouldn't do it. I would skip it because as great of an artist as Albrecht Dürer was, and he has some spectacular work, it's not in here. None of it's in here. Most of it's in Munich or different places around the world. There's one original work of art from Albrecht Dürer, and it's an engraving. There's several copies of his work in there. So there's that. You're not going to see Albrecht Dürer work for the most part. And the house itself, they don't know what it looked like. None of his furniture is left in there, so they don't know what it was set up like. They don't have any idea what any of the rooms are for, with the exception of the kitchen. And so the kitchen is like really the only room they know was a kitchen. And something unique about that was it had like an add-on bathroom, a privy right there on the kitchen, which is, if you think about it now, it's kind of gross, I guess. But that was added on because in his later years, it was hard for him to move around, and he couldn't go down to the courtyard to use the bathroom. So he had this basically illegal bathroom added on to his kitchen. It broke city codes, I guess, but they didn't give him a hard time because he was the favorite son of the city. But yeah, so me personally, it wasn't worth €7.50. But if you love Albrecht Dürer and you just want to go through his old house, then hey, go for it. So Betty said the audio guide was interesting, and it was. It gave some good information about the different stuff. To me, I was just a little bit disappointed there wasn't more of his original work in there. Just a short walk from the Hauptmarkt in Nuremberg stands St. Sebald's Church, one of the city's most historic and beautiful landmarks. Construction began around 1230, and over the centuries it grew from a simple Romanesque church into a magnificent Gothic masterpiece. It's dedicated to Saint Sebald, Nuremberg's patron saint, a hermit and preacher who lived here in the 11th century. His bronze shrine, created by the famous Renaissance artist Peter Fischer the Elder, rests inside the church and is considered one of the finest bronze works of its time. Much of the church was destroyed during World War II, but painstakingly rebuilt stone by stone, a testament to Nuremberg's determination to preserve its past. Today, when you step inside St. Sebald's, you're surrounded by centuries of devotion, art, and resilience, a peaceful contrast to the busy streets just outside. All right, so we are walking along the old medieval walls, the ramparts here in Nuremberg. And so we were at the Albrecht Dürer house, and we looked up and we saw people up on the walls, and we're like, how do you get there? So we came across directly across from the Albrecht Dürer house, and there's a little self-service bar there. We walked in, had a glass of wine, and there's seating right outside underneath this beautiful courtyard with lots of shade. And so we asked them, so how do we get up to the ramparts? And they told us, so basically, and there's plenty of seating there. They have extra chairs stowed away. So if they don't have seating, you can find chairs and put them out. It's a really nice shade tree on a nice warm day like today. Just really a beautiful setting. So you leave if you leave the Albrecht Dürer house, you'll go to the right. If you leave this bar, you'll go to the left, and you'll go up towards the castle, go up some steps, and go to the left, and you'll climb up steps, and you'll end up in the castle gardens. And then just keep going left, and you'll go. The gardens are really nice too, really, really beautiful, and has nice views up there. And just keep going to the left, and you'll pass some public restrooms, and then you'll be a little entryway, and it'll bring you directly to these ramparts, and really, really beautiful views of Nuremberg. I don't know if you can see. There's the castle behind me, and the Albrecht Dürer house, and it's really beautiful. We'll show you some images up there, but yeah, so don't miss a walk along the ramparts for some great views, and really nice way to spend your afternoon here in Nuremberg. We've been here several times and have not been here, so discovering something new every time we come to Nuremberg. So you're seeing our video, so you'll know better when you come. That's right. The nicest walkways in Nuremberg, with the nicest bridges to walk on in Nuremberg, city with a lot of bridges, is unfortunately under construction right now. So it's going to be closed until the 31st of October, and that is called the Hangman's Bridge, or the Executioner's Bridge, and it went to the executioner's house, I guess. So in the Middle Ages, being the executioner was kind of a low-level job and was not looked upon too greatly by the townsfolk. So the executioner actually had to live outside of town. So his little house there was on an island, and from what I understand, that was considered to be outside of the city. So that's where he had to live. Now it's a museum. You can go in there and you can get a tour of the executioner's house. We have not been in. So I can't really say anything about it, but you can go over there. We really wanted to walk across the bridge, but unfortunately it's closed. It's supposed to be open on the 31st of October, so maybe they'll have the Executioner's Bridge opened just in time for Halloween. Won't that be something?
Just outside the old city walls, Nuremberg's marriage fountain tells the story of love and everything that comes with it. It's bold, dramatic, and a little bit controversial. Each figure represents a stage of marriage, from passion and romance to conflict and eventually death. It's not exactly subtle, but it's unforgettable, a mix of humor, honesty, and art that only Nuremberg could pull off. We absolutely fell in love with Nuremberg all over again. It's such a beautiful and historic place with so much to see and do. We never run out of new corners to explore. Even with all that we've shown you, there's still more we couldn't fit in. So we've created a separate Nuremberg food tour, which will be our next video. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, please do us a favor and share it with someone who's planning a trip to Germany, or anyone who loves watching travel videos about this amazing country. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch our video. Have you visited Nuremberg? Let us know in the comments what your favorite thing was about this gorgeous city. Or tell us which other German cities you think we should explore next. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming adventures. See you in the next video, and as always, happy travels!